XFM News on point.
News on XFM. I'm Chris Opim. The National Unity Platform presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu has postponed his manifesto launch to tomorrow. Bobi Wine had earlier announced that he will be launching his manifesto today in Mbarara City, but unfortunately this will not happen as planned. Kyagulanyi mentioned through his Facebook page that he has decided to shift the date for the launch to first attend to the burial of the late Anas Kalisa, who passed away on Wednesday of this week. However, Bobi Wine confirmed to have informed the Electoral Commission and the police about his program for the launch. Presidential candidate Nancy Kalembe has expressed fears over the credibility of the elections which are going to be organized by the Ugandan Electoral Commission. Kalembe says the commission cannot independently make some decisions ranging from security interference in the elections to the unleveled ground for all candidates, among others. She adds that the EC seems to be getting instructions from other forces on how to conduct the elections.
On this, even if the Electoral Commission says they are free and fair and they are independent, if it is true that they are free and fair and independent, then their hands are tied with very strong bands, because they say one thing and they basically can't make decisions on anything, meaning that they are not in charge of this election. So my question is, who is in charge of the election if the Electoral Commission is not really in charge?
Kalembe, the only female presidential candidate, has however asked Ugandans to vote overwhelmingly for the people who will bring change in the country.
We will go on with the campaigns. You know why? Ugandans want change. And however much the platform of this election is tilted to favor the incumbent, it is up to Ugandans to vote differently. If Ugandans vote differently, there won't be choice. But it will be very clear that it doesn't matter how many screws are put in certain places to make it difficult for any presidential candidate to become successful in this election. We as Ugandans have a voice and we need to use it. We have a ballot. Let's use it. Let's not be intimidated.
Medical experts have expressed concern over the increasing breast cancer cases. Dr. Victoria Walusimbi from the Uganda Cancer Institute confirmed the increasing cases from 800 to 1,000 patients diagnosed every year. She made the remarks at the Cancer Institute while receiving artificially made breasts from the Cancer Aid Organization to be used by mothers who have lost their breasts to cancer.
We have received breast prostheses from DHL through Lampsawe, and these prostheses have been made from here. So they are going to help patients whose breasts have been cut away, to help them dress and be able to walk better. We have 800 new cases of breast cancer, but the majority of the patients come in late.
The National Physical Planning Board has threatened to demolish buildings in road reserves and wetlands. The acting chairman of the board, Amanda Ngabirano, says many people have erected buildings without approved plans. Amanda adds that owners of the buildings and private houses will be required to paint them, and failure to do so will attract a fine not exceeding 2 million Uganda shillings or imprisonment of 2 years upon conviction. She says littering will also attract a fine of not more than 2 million shillings or imprisonment not exceeding 2 years.
So we want to assure you that the board is not going to sleep, but ensure that littering is addressed. And we also met the Chief Justice and requested that once these offences appear before the law, they should be handled expeditiously so that everybody stops the habit. But also we are going to do radio and TV sensitization of people to start learning how to dispose of their rubbish, to stop littering. In the long term, that's more sustainable, but we are going to actually engage on the ground and stop the littering. Painting, it will be upon the business owner, the premise, buy the paint, because an ugly building makes the whole area look ugly. And remember, physical planning is done in public interests, not individual interests.
In world news, at least 50 people have been killed by landslides in Guatemala after Storm Eta's torrential rain and high winds battered the Central African country. Guatemalan President Alejandro Guatemala said around half the deaths were in a single town where a A collapse buried some 20 houses under the thick mud. ETA made landfall in neighboring Nicaragua as a hurricane on Tuesday. It was later downgraded to a tropical storm. Mr. Giametai said a month's worth of rain had fallen in less than half a day during an impromptu press conference on Thursday. Ongoing heavy rain has left rescue workers unable to reach one of the worst affected areas, including the town of San Cristobal Varapaz, which is home to half of the reported casualties in that part of the world in Guatemala. In technology news, WhatsApp is introducing a disappearing messages option that will erase chats from the phone of both the sender and the recipient after 7 days. The Facebook-owned app, which has 2 billion users worldwide, said the setting would help keep chats private, but it said recipients would still be able to screenshot or forward any messages, photos, or videos that they wanted to keep. The option will appear for WhatsApp users by the end of November. In a blog, the company said messages would be set to expire after 7 days to offer a peace of mind that conversations aren't permanent while remaining practical so that you don't forget what you are chatting about. In April of 2019, Facebook's chief executive Mark Zuckerberg pledged to make several changes to the social network to offer users more privacy. The company also hopes to integrate its messaging platforms with WhatsApp, Instagram, as well as Facebook Messenger. In sports, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer retains the support of Manchester United and is still seen as a long-term appointment. It's been reported Solskjaer has come under fresh scrutiny in the wake of Wednesday's 2-1 defeat at Istanbul Başakşehir in the Champions League. They are first in the competition this season. United are currently in 15th place in the Premier League table after losing 1-0 against their one-time rivals Arsenal on Sunday. But the club has no plans to replace Solskjaer, despite reports linking former Tottenham manager Mauricio Pochettino with the role at Old Trafford. United return to Premier League action on Saturday away at Everton, who have also lost their last 2 matches against Southampton and Newcastle. And that's the latest XFM News.
XFM News on point.